Hi everybody, this is Tasha once again, and I'm going to share with you on a different angle, which I've been meditating on for the past 2 days. And if you've not clicked on the subscribe button, please do so, please, and click also on the notification bell. Now, let's go straight to what we are supposed to cover today. I hope God helps me to cover this. Get, the topic today is get to know Him for yourself. I decided to choose this topic because I've told you that I've been on a walk with God and I've learned a few things from Him here and there, and not a few, a lot. And I've also learned concerning scriptures. Sometimes He teaches me things about myself or how He is Himself. So I came to a point where I realized that you can learn all these things, you can know all these things, but they are general in nature. Like, how do I put it? They're general in the terms that it can apply to anyone. Like, if I get a message right now, it's a message that if I type it or write it somewhere, it's something that anyone else can relate with, or it's something that if somebody is trying to develop a relationship with God can easily understand what that is. And then I came to realize later that there's a difference between hearing from God and getting to know Him for yourself. For yourself, I mean like making certain choices. Like if I want to do a certain thing, or I want to travel somewhere, or I want to relocate, or I want to go for further studies, or I want to, what else? What else? Oh, I want to get married, maybe. What else? There are a lot of things, just personal, not related with other people. Now, it happens that most people, from what I've learned from other believers, they can hear God concerning other people, but they don't sometimes hear God about their lives. And that is something that has really challenged me and has really got me thinking. And I've been asking God, like, seriously, how can I be like, I'm hearing you, and yet when it comes to certain decisions that I have to make, I cannot figure out what you're saying clearly. I don't know how that happens, because when it comes to other things, you know this is from God, this is God speaking. But when it comes not to your life and you want to do certain things, you find that you are limited in a certain angle. You feel like you're hearing, but it's like there are two voices. Yeah, so you don't know which one is which. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, so that is why I decided to pick this topic. So the first step in handling this issue, one thing that I learned from him is that if you have to learn to hear God for yourself, then you have to start small. You have to start from minor things, like tomorrow. You don't know what tomorrow looks like or what it will be like, but you you develop a character of trying to hear from him what he has to say about tomorrow, because sometimes he would also give you dreams about it or visions, and then tomorrow you meet that particular thing or that particular person, or you end up encountering a situation similar to whatever you saw. So it starts with minor things, small things. You learn to hear through that. You learn to hear continuously through that until you will have developed. The more you do something, the more you learn how it sounds. You know how the voice of God sounds. So if you've started to hear him on few things, like why should I take this application later, or should I go to town today, or just little things, as in try to involve him in your everyday life. to an extent that you don't have to think it like, did I do this without him? Somebody even say that even if you're cooking, you try and involve him. Yeah. And it's something that people have to learn. I also have to learn it. So it's something that takes practice. You just have to talk to him. He's a person. He's a person, just the way I am. It's only that I'm flesh, but the more you talk to him, the more you hear him. And why it's important that you get to know him for yourself. He knows you like nobody else. Like he knows what is good for you. Do you know somebody who is wise, who created you in the first place? And then it's like he's from age to age, he lived from before and is still alive up to now. That is a person full of wisdom. And if he's going to teach you, if he's going to direct you, trust me, he cannot lead you astray. So it's important at least you connect with him and find out, because the enemy is also there. He's also trying to find a way of controlling your life. Because sometimes you might think that you're the one controlling your life, but still, as long as the enemy knows that he has you where he wants you, like you're doing things not bothering to consult with God, still that means you're not doing it in accordance to how God would have wanted it done. One thing that I still need you to know is that when you're making a mistake, he knows that you're making a mistake. And sometimes maybe we try to communicate, because I believe God is always trying to communicate with us through his spirit from time to time. It happens that if we are not aligned with him in the spirit, then we're not able to hear what he's saying. Whether it's a mistake, we just go ahead and do it. Then later on, maybe that's when you realize you've done a mistake and you'll be like, why didn't you show me? You didn't inquire in the first place. He only gives you information if you seek for it, if you look for it, if you've always involved him. If you always don't involve him, like how does he come and suggest to you something? You have to permit him to do that in your life. Just know that if you're going to follow a relationship with God, please avoid coming before God to build this relationship with the aim of getting power, or with the aim of being powerful, or just being used to help other people. It starts with you. If this relationship doesn't go deep, where your life is also being led, then it means, even if you're telling people that this is how God wants them to do certain things, you are telling them, but really deep down within you, for yourself, you are under confusion. And that is why you find maybe there are preachers or servants of God who you find that they end up doing certain things, thinking that it was right, or according to them, they thought it would go through, but then it doesn't. Or they even locate their church at a location where God didn't want them to locate it there, but they did it anyway, simply because they could not hear God for themselves. They could not hear God to know what God is trying to speak at that time. Because if you can hear what God is saying, trust me, even if you are one person who is so much in a hurry to get somewhere, at some point you'll just have peace and be patient, because you know that you're being led. You know that He can never lead you astray. I'm going to read from the book of John 5, verse 19. Jesus said, "Truly, truly, I say to you, the Son can do nothing on his own accord, but only what he sees the Father doing. For whatever he does, and the Son does likewise." If that is going to be a situation where we are living in, it means that we have to be living a life where there is a linkage between the physical and the spirit realm, a linkage between the realm of God and this physical realm. And that can only come into being when you are deep in the relationship with God, by building it. You know what I told you in the other video, how you're supposed to build it so that you become spiritually alert to what He's saying. So for it to reach a point where the spirit realm, the realm of God, passes into the physical realm, until some even have open visions, or some even hear, like literally, or some perceive, or some even have dreams or vision. For it to reach that point where it's clear that this is what God is saying, it means that you've developed that relationship. You are close with God to an extent that whatever you see is what you execute. Now, if that is going to come to a point where in the physical life, like literally right now, you I see what God is doing and then I do it, it means I will have reached a level where that relationship is more spiritual. Yeah, to an extent that you can literally see without having without having visions once in a while, or yeah, you have to be building it, and it only takes the help of God for you to reach that level. So getting to know Him for yourself, I believe if you do this, you'll be able to see what God is doing or what God is saying over a certain issue, such that you will not be able to rush into certain things or do certain things or do things in a certain way. Because I believe like like 80% chances that the mistakes that people have made or the sinful situation that people have gotten themselves in is because maybe they didn't hear from God. They just took actions without getting to know what God was saying. And in the long run, that's when they realize, okay, I've done this, but I didn't hear clearly from Him. So I don't know exactly what He would have said about this. But if you are living a life where you can hear from God and you are going to do a certain thing, or you are going to do something, just anything, and He tells you that don't go that way because He knows there's something ahead that you might encounter. So if you are able to hear, then that means you would have been able to escape it. You'd have been able to just push it aside and take the other direction that He's telling you. So that is it for now. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next video. And please subscribe. I really appreciate it.